and your doctor simply tell you to manage your stress, do you believe that one concept and start managing your stress as a patient or as a client to him? You go and see another doctor who prescribes a medicine. That's the nature of, I think, the patient also. Like, you don't
Yeah.
believe him as a good doctor if he
Until and
don't
unless he writes some for medicine for
write a
you.
medicine for you. So it's like a placebo effect to everyone. You want to take a pill, that magical pill which can magically heal your body, is what, as a consumer or as a patient, I'm also looking for.
Hi, welcome to Casey Talks. Today we have with us a functional nutritionist by name Vineesha Reddy. I never heard a word called functional nutrition, and how is it different from a normal nutrition, and what is her role any different from any dietitian or a nutritionist? So let us deep dive in Vineesha Reddy's practice and her understanding of what nutrition is all about. Hi,
Hello,
how are you doing?
I'm good.
You look very blushing today. So I had a consultation with you, Vineesha, last evening, and that made me think that I should do this podcast. Because we all have certain understanding of medicine today, because of thanks to Google, that we all have understood, what medicine is, for what disease, what medicine works, blah blah blah. So I have gone to a nutritionist a year back to reduce weight. So I had only one understanding, that nutrition, a normal nutritionist plays a role where when you have to lose your weight.
Yes.
That's what a nutritionist role is. That's what
Yes.
my understanding was. But then when I had a conversation with you, it was a very thought-provoking conversation, and you were very deep in understanding interrelation of body with mind, interconnection of different organs, so on and so forth. So, like a layman, and for my audience, can you please explain us what is this functional nutrition all about?
Okay. So the modern medicine made us to believe that each organ has a special disciplinary to treat. Say, suppose if you have an endocrine issues, you go to an endocrinologist. If you have cardiac issues, you go to a cardiologist. If you have a gastro issues, you go to a gastroenterologist, making us believe that each organ work independently. But what functional nutrition has taught me, that there is one single root cause which is impacting all the organs together. Hence you are seeing these diseases and disorders as a special disciplinary, but these diseases and disorders are interconnected. This is what functional nutrition does. We look for the root cause.
So, for a normal understanding, in the modern medicine, you all have a different specializations for different organ.
Yes.
But there is no one specialization which sees the integration of all organs. Am I right?
True.
Is that how a modern medicine is working today?
Of course, yes. When you go to a multi-specialty hospital, do you see one single doctor? If you have like dyslipidemia, say like your cholesterols are abnormal, you have thyroid issues, you have occasional constipation and stomach pain. So what your endocrinologist advice is, like, once you are done with your endocrinologist appointment, you take the thyroid medication, then you go to your cardiologist because your lipid profile is abnormal. You take the medication from the cardiologist and come back to the gastroenterologist because you've been having constipation. You take medication for the constipation. So no doctor is ready to look beyond their own disciplinary. Yeah.
Then what is the work of a general physician?
So you have like it's okay. Say, as long as there is no abnormalities, which is, say, every disease has a manifestation stage. Okay. Whenever your body is showing certain signs and symptoms of distress, say like today you're not type 2 diabetic, okay, you have pre-diabetic stage. Okay, and in insulin, when you look at your lipid profile also, it's not so abnormal like you need to go to a cardiologist. They are there at a pre-diabetic stage where these whatever the markers you see on your blood work is not telling you that you have a disease. So at that point you see a general physician. But once this cardiac marker shoots up, it's beyond the knowledge of general physician, then he'll go and ask you to meet a cardiologist. So a general physician is like a pre-manifestation stage. Then you see the general physician. Once you know that you have a cardiac issue, once you know that you have a kidney issue, Once you know that you have diabetes issue, then you go to this specialist and seek their advice.
But then generally, it's very tough to believe because we have so much faith on modern medicine, right? That there is no one doctor who integrates all the organs and see. Isn't there anything like that?
We were made to believe that organs work differently. So no, I think in modern medicine it's not possible for a single doctor to cure entire things which you are suffering with. Yeah.
It's a good information for me. So you people see the body has a whole element, and then you try to understand the root cause of a disease.
Yes, as I say, I believe in these 4 pillars which has to be very strong if you have to have a healthy body. So what are these 4 pillars? One is physical health, your everyday movement. This is not something which you do for a restricted period. Say like people believe that if you want to lose a weight, you have to work out for 3 months and after that you can leave your workouts. So your physical movement should be everyday lifestyle practice. So one is physical health. You move, leave your sedentary lifestyle and get into an active lifestyle. Number 2 is your biological health. You have to sleep in time according to the circadian cycle. You have to sleep when it's night, like around 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. You wake up with the sun around early morning. So the sleep which you get in sync with the circadian cycle is sleep. It would allow you to rest and relax. Number 3 is mental health. So how are you processing your emotions and what is your level of threshold of the stress which you are taking day to day. Number 4 is nutritional health. What you eat and what are your choices of the food. If these 4 pillars are very strong, then only you can be named as an healthy individual. If one pillar falls, say like you're not sleeping in time, you're not waking up in time, it just impacts your entire biological, biochemical activities in the body, which is leading to the diseases and disorders. So one pillar, it's not working properly, your body start getting into a pre-stage of disease and disorders.
So emotions also play an equal role in disease management?
All the 4 pillars, 101% yes.
Then why we don't address any emotional or mental health? If we go to a doctor, let's say we visited a hospital, we see all the branches and we have psychiatry, but which is very small. So, but then there's nobody says about emotional well-being. I see if I go with a high cholesterol, I don't see a cardiologist asking me how is your relationship with your wife or how are they treating you or
what is your stress levels.
They will ask stress. These days there is a work mein stress kaisa hai, how is your stress at work and all of that they would ask. But I don't think they would ask us a personal question of how is your relationship in the family, is everything okay, or how are your kids doing, or are you leading a very happy family life, work-life balance and all that stuff. I don't see them generally asking because they are also too busy. There's a huge queue waiting out.
They give a hint about asking about what is your stress like. So they tell you that stress can impact. But as a doctor, their duty is to prescribe a medicine. Say like you go for a consultation and your doctor simply tell you to, manage your stress. Do you believe that one concept and start managing your stress? As a patient or as a client to him, you go and see another doctor who prescribes a medicine. That's the nature of, I think, the patient also. Like you don't believe him as a good doctor.
Unless he writes some
medicine for you. So it's like a placebo effort to everyone. You want to take a pill, that magical pill which can magically heal your body is what, as a consumer or as a patient, I'm also looking for. So this entire mindset and education in regards to the connection of your mental and physical health.
So technically these modern doctors are encashing the psychological conditioning of a patient.
I don't blame on them, but yes, there should be someone to educate us. Like these 4 pillars are very important. If this education can start in early stages, like your school is taking responsibility to educate you. Your parents are taking responsibility to educate you from the very young period. Now, instead of looking for a short-term solutions like 3 months ka weight loss course or 45 days weight loss course, you also take responsible to understand where are these diseases stemming from. Don't blame a system, like don't blame any system. But I also feel like whenever you go to a doctor, it's a minimal duty of a practitioner to explain like whatever the solution I'm showing you for the metabolic disorders, this doesn't really work. You have to change your lifestyle. You have to change your eating pattern.
No, definitely I see one thing, Vineesha, is modern doctors are telling that.
Yes.
But what happens is like like, you know what, as an analogy, you only remember a hero in a movie.
Yeah.
And that hero is a pill here.
Yes.
And the entire gamut of stress, your diet, your lifestyle modification, work-life balance are like comedians who come and go. So you don't really, so at the end of a day, when I consult
You need that magical pill.
when I consult a doctor, at the end of the day, I'll come out and see a prescription. What is the course of a medicine? How many days this course is? But I would have heard something. And to be very honest, Vineesha, you go to a hospital these days, they'll all look like malls today.
It has commercialized.
And then I think there's a natural course pattern. Then morning 9 to 12, 1 o'clock, they are OPD, patients. And then they go on rounds for the people who got admitted in that hospital. So they also don't have so much of time to counsel. To counsel, and that's where your role comes.
Definitely they comes. We can prevent you from going to the doctor. We can protect you from going to the doctor. Yeah.
But at what level? Because if I come with a cholesterol of 300, 400, so do you think you can really manage my disease without statins?
Oh yes. See, even if you use the medication, what is the tool here which is helping you to get into a normal triglyceride level or normalize your cholesterol levels? So it's the food. Food is the medicine. So food is a tool that has to be used as a medicine. When you have cancer, that's a different story. When your kidneys have already failed, then it's a different story. When your liver has went into a cirrhosis levels, like the cells of the liver has died already, then nutrition may not magically heal everything, but it will heal definitely to an extent where with a combination of few things and nutrition, but still nutrition takes the first step. Then comes your medication. So all the metabolic disorders can heal when you see food as a medicine.
Aharam pradama aushadam.
Yes.
So this is like an Ayurvedic understanding, right?
Food is a medicine. It doesn't belong to any disciplinary, but itself is a notion, right?
You are what you eat.
You are what you eat, definitely.
But why, Vineesha, this is so easy and this is so commonly known in the world. Why have our food patterns changed so much in this last 2 decades?
In the world of Swiggy and Zomato, when
Swiggy's and
everything...
Zomatos have only come 5 years back.
When I also see when I started my practice 8 years back, one in maybe in 100 people, there are 10 people who were diabetic, like a decade ago when we started. Now, every 1 in 10 people are diabetic now. I can say 3 are pre-diabetic, 1 is diabetic, definitely. So, the increase in the stress factors, you're not stopping and resonating what you want in your life. You're just running a rat race. When you are taking so much of stress beyond what your body can manage, then our mind triggers us to not to have a control over the food habits. So you don't have a control over food habits. There are increase in the options which are available. The ultra processed foods has increased. Even if you eat them in small quantities every day, one day you get into an insulin resistant stage, and
Vineesha,
it spoils your
nutrition
health.
is such an important stuff.
Yes.
We both remember our graduation days. Where did you study?
I did my pharmacy, then I moved from Tamil Nadu.
So you did it in Chennai?
Yeah, yes.
I also did my graduation from Chennai. Do you remember your graduation days?
Yes.
What a nonsense food that we were surviving on. Or any person who does his engineering is...
Mine is a different story. I never had access to outside food because of the college restrictions. We have to eat whatever that's served in the hostel.
But even in that college, you might be eating puffs and biscuits and chocolates and noodles and all this garbage, right?
Maybe, I don't know. I've been conscious my family always had this small garden, front of our house, growing
Kitchen
our
gardening.
own vegetables. So my palate is much adaptable to something which is home cooked food. Yeah.
No, but I see a drastic change. When I was, so I came into my graduation. Before graduation, like my dad, so I was a kid, right? So my dad and mom used to take me to restaurants only on occasions, like our family day.
Yeah.
My mother's.
That used to be a very special days where we go to restaurants
And eat. So most of the time we eat at home.
Yeah.
And I don't remember those days. We had so much of junk. Probably
See, there are 3 types. The food can be categorized into 4 things. One is clean food, like farm to table. Okay. Second is processed food, minimally processed food. Say like you take wheat, you are grinding it into atta. It is called as minimally processed
That's
food.
what you call it, as minimally processed
Yeah,
food. Is
and
it?
then comes the processed food. This wheat is made into maida. It's called as processed food. This processed food is now into a step of ultra processed foods where this maida is used to make cakes, pastries, pizzas. So we were at the stage where we don't have this ultra processed food so much.
Yeah, at least
Our parents
at
were-
least my graduation days,
Yeah.
like 2005, 6, all that stuff. We did not had a lot of ultra
Processed
but
foods.
we had Maggies. People were living. My hostel was living on Maggies technically.
I don't know, but we were there till a stage of processed foods. But now ultra processed foods have been the biggest red flag for the healthcare system.
Then, Vineesha, do you feel sorry because we kind of educate our kids, what is not required about science and history and physics and chemistry and mathematics and all, but then what they need food, because when a son or a daughter is sent to a college for a hostel, for their IITs, for their NITs, engineering, anywhere, so we all mostly stay away from the home. But nobody would have told, parents would have not given us this advice that don't eat out. They used to give us pocket money. I used to not like a lot of this idli sambar those days. So whenever there was an idli sambar or a paratha in my college, I used to sneak into the canteen and I used to eat puffs and pastries.
Food, when it comes to our parents' generation, there was no awareness.
First of all, they had no choice.
No choice, no awareness. And food is always associated with love and affection, your feelings also. So if your mother loves you more, she gives you 10 rupees as a pocket money so that you can go buy whatever the stuff you want to buy. That's how she expresses her love and, love to you. So that was there at that age. And as I said, like there is a difference now in this generation. I see more of ultra processed foods. Even if you eat dosa, there is cheese on that. So it's an ultra processed generation which we are living in. Our generation
but where is this
processed
health
food.
campaigning going on? Who is educating them? You have schools to educate chemistry, you have schools to educate maths. I don't know, I have learned maths, like theorems and all that stuff, which I don't even use it in my life after I pass out. But nutrition should be a subject in schools and colleges where they whatever you categorize today,
clean food, minimally processed
and ultra. I have never heard
processed.
this. I have heard these terminologies like bits and pieces, but nobody educates them. So nutrition, and another biggest thing, I have a doctor friend of mine, and I've done an episode with a doctor here who's a monk. Both of them told me that they never had nutrition, or probably nutrition as a subject in their 5 years of...
Even I never... when I was doing my B pharmacy, B pharmacy is like pharmaceutics. You know how to manufacture the drugs, right? How is it going into your body and modulating and changing your biochemical pathways? This was what I studied. Never a single line I read about the nutrition. Like, put the food as first medicine, then you give the medicine to the patient who is not healing.
What a tragedy.
Yeah.
It's very misleading, isn't it?
It's a $1 million industry would crash if you are educated about nutrition. That is pharmaceutical industry. There will be a crash in the pharmaceutical industry if everyone is educated about the nutrition.
What an utter nonsense that anybody, any layman knows you are what you eat.
Yeah.
And the doctor is treating that body. And he doesn't have a subject of nutrition in his course. In his 5.5, I don't know, 6 years. What is MBBS today?
I also tell my own personal experience as a functional nutritionist. My patients believe that, okay, I go to her, I take some supplements and I take, some diet from her. My body is going to magically heal. But every time I start from this very basic counseling session of what was your childhood trauma like? What are the relationships which you have with your family? What is your work-life balance? Whenever I ask these questions, nothing looks normalized to me. They come from broken families, broken relationships. They had a past which was not healed. So subconscious mind is always at an alarm mode. Your body is manifesting those traumas into a physical abnormality. So you go to your doctor if he's only educating you, like, take this medication, like,
No,
change
this
your
what you now
lifestyle.
said, it's an altogether another gamut. I was asking you that nutrition is not part of their curriculum, but now what you addressed is that emotional
Health is not a part of anybody's curriculum.
that is not there in anybody's curriculum.
Yeah.
And until and unless you completely go crazy with your emotional,
Even if you talk about emotional health, nobody is ready to listen and accept that they are depressed or their life is messed up.
First of all, Vineesha, a blunt truth in the life is, until and unless you're emotionally screwed up,
then only
and then you develop a psychiatric disorder, then there is something called as a psychiatrist. So I really feel overwhelmed to host you, because you are understanding, whole gamut of body, mind, emotion and food.
Yeah.
So a very long time back, I was traveling in Bangalore, and then I saw a big hoarding where Deepika Padukone was endorsing on mental health. Because she had some issue, and then she was telling it is quite okay. You need to understand your mood swings and your mind, how it functions, and then you need to approach a therapist. And then I saw this movie called Ye Zindagi, wherein I understood that going to a therapist or a psychologist is okay. Till that time it was a taboo.
Yeah, taboo.
If you go to a psychologist, then
you
people, all your surrounding people will all, label you that
as
you are a
mentally sick.
Yeah, you are a mental person. So in that way, at least there are few attempts that are made in India by some celebrities or some movies, where people are aware that now they have to take care of their mental health.
Yeah.
But nutrition is such an ignored subject.
True.
That everybody want a magical pill.
Everybody is looking for shortcuts.
Shortcuts.
Nobody has that patience to work and understand what are these 4 pillars and where am I lacking in my health. So you do 101 things when you're not taking care of your emotional health. I see people working 14 hours a day on their laptops, so disturbing their circadian rhythm and ending up with constipation. If the constipation has to resolve, you have to sleep in time. You have to wake up in time. Then only your GI system gets time to move the things and you poop in the morning. So I explain this thing, but they keep messaging me at 1 o'clock in the night. Ma'am, I have stomach pain. So what are you doing till 1 o'clock? If I ask next day, I'm working on my laptop. I have a meeting tomorrow. So your body is always under fight and flight mode. You're not resting yourself. Then how is your body going to heal? This is not a magical system ki you on the battery, you off the battery whenever you want.
Wonderful, Vineesha. I'm so glad. So one thing to understand is you play a role of a psychologist also here?
I don't want to play a role of psychologist because I'm not good at counseling or making you understand at a deeper level. But what I strongly believe is mind and gut are interconnected. Your emotions and physical health is interconnected. If one thing is not healing, the other things would never heal.
So you address all the 4 pillars when people come to you?
I do. We have a free meditation class when you join my program. So we want them to understand.
So overall well-being of a person you address.
Yes.
And this is what a functional nutritionist job is.
Yes.
Very, very nice. So are you seeing this functional nutritionist, this profile picking up these days? You find them in every city in India?
I don't know how, whenever a new subject comes into the market, it goes viral and everyone want to run back of that. But end of the day, it's not something you can become overnight. Like you do a 4 months of course and become a functional nutritionist. It doesn't happen that way, unfortunately. So don't fall for people who do this 4 months ka 3 months ka course of functional nutrition and label them as a functional nutritionist.
Okay.
You have to understand the anatomy, physiology and biochemical pathways of the body if you want to heal the disease.
Superb.
This is not something entirely labeled or blamed on the mental health, but your body is physically suffering. It is lacking the nutrients. It doesn't have good microbiome. It is overloaded with a bad microbiome, which is altering the biochemical pathways in the body. So you should have a knowledge looking at the symptoms, what is the disorder or disease could be. You should be there in a position of analyzing that when the patient is clueless. So nobody knows about what exactly is irritable bowel syndrome. So you have to get an idea what are the tests that has to be done. What is a nutritional aspect? What is a supplement aspect you can give? what can be depleted in the body when someone is suffering with chronic gut issues. So you should be there in a space of understanding all these aspects.
And the more you meet people and the more case studies you handle, probably you will learn more out of it.
Yes. The tools which we have, you should be educated, and the tools which you use in between to treat the clients, and the more number of cases you do, the more understanding of the diseases happens.
Great, Vineesha. I'm so glad to understand that you understand body as whole and not like just your physical body and your mental body and your well-being. So well-being, totally, it's a holistic, it's a holistic way of dealing.
You have to change yourself as a person. You can't be an anger, narcissistic, abusive person if you want to heal your body.
Wow.
You can't live with a narcissistic, abusive, stressful atmosphere if you want to heal your body.
Great. Very nice. So I would like to do a series of podcasts with you on all the lifestyle diseases, and then let us understand and deep dive into every disease and what's the root cause of the disease and what is that emotional thing that is interlinked to the disease, and what kind of a food, and let us do this in a way that we understand that disease from a 360-degree angle, and so that our audience can get benefited of healing them.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Vineesha.
Thank you.
Good day.